Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the Pisces New Moon that's happening on Saturday, March 13th in most of the world, on the 12th in the Western US. So this Pisces new moons are always a new beginning of a new cycle, but we're really trying to get out of the Piscean age. And so this new moon is very significant because we've had that greater conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, and on the solstice moving over into the sign of Aquarius, speaking to trying to move into this new age. And now this Pisces season is forcing us, as the personal planets come into their interactions with Neptune and the nodes of the moon, Venus and the sun, forcing us to sort out on a personal level what's keeping us from moving forward and what's keeping us in the past. And how do we reclaim the magic and the beauty of the Piscean age and get out of the nightmare. And so it's coming home. And this, so leading up to this new moon in Pisces, we've got the sun was in square to the nodes, Venus in square to the nodes, and then they're both having a conjunction with Neptune. And so for this full moon, Venus will be an exact conjunction to Neptune. And it's really just a powerful story being played out for us here, because the whole month of March is about the sun and Venus gradually coming closer and closer together. They're only a couple of degrees apart for this new moon. And the sun is conjunct Neptune just before, leading up to this new moon, and then Venus is conjunct Neptune on this new moon. And so it's saying a new start for the dream and reworking our identity, because the sun is like who we think we are, Venus, the feminine, and this is the part of ourselves that we've all cast aside, a part of ourselves that feels rejected and cast aside and low self-worth and all that. And so the astrology is saying we got to pick her up and put her back in her rightful place and get on with it, because we cannot bring harmony and peace back to our planet in this new age without a balance of the masculine and feminine. And indeed, the astrology over the last few years just hammering this point home. And so now that Venus and the sun coming closer and closer together as they approach that Aries point, which is 0 degrees Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, very powerful placement. And it's a rebirth of the feminine in all of us, a rebirth of the goddess on our planet, and a rebirth of the dream. Now, this is the trick of the Pisces energy, and also the magic of the Pisces energy, is that it's about the big consciousness that we're all a part of. And what happened in the Piscean age is that consciousness was that group consciousness, that spiritual revelation, that connection, cosmic connection between all of us, used to control us through dominating religious paradigms. And all of those coincidentally caught the feminine out, right? And called her a whore, sent her down to the underworld, And so we're trying to sort this all out. But right now, with Venus and the sun involved, it's on a personal level. And hitting home, Venus transits can be really force us to go within, face our deepest insecurities, our feelings of, what we want, why we can't have what we want. Is what we want really what we want? Who are we? This is this astrology right now. It's very interesting because it's taking us right back to the Venus retrograde that happened last June. So there was a feeling coming up of like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. So Venus represents our value system and what really makes us feel good, what we love, what makes us feel cared for. And we are completely confused after this crazy year of 2020 and everything going off the rails. And so it's kind of weird because we're going back to that feeling, and it's like, wait a minute, we just went on this year-long journey and we didn't get anywhere. Are we ever going to get anywhere? But that's the deal with this Pisces new moon. It's on the same day that Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow. It was a rough Mercury retrograde because Mercury retrograde in Aquarius after that greater conjunction just really challenging everything in our psyche around whether or not or how to get out of the nightmare. So very powerful energy. And also right just around the time of just before this new moon, Neptune comes off of its square completely with the nodes, like it's out of range now. And that's been a big part of the confusion and delusion of these last 4 months. And so a huge shifting energy. So just keep that in mind. Hang in there. We're doing it. You're doing it. You made it. It is really discouraging when you have that feeling like I've worked so hard, I've been so present, I'm doing what I'm here to do, and then it almost feels like the world is punishing you. Indeed, the lower matrix is going to continue to punish you for being the light, for trying to get out. And this is where we get into the magic of the Pisces energy. Now, we have this thing of kind of as the delusions of our world fall away and we understand that we're in a psychological game, then, and we know we have these facts, we understand in our conscious, in our mental consciousness that we create our own reality, right? And yet, what's keeping us here in this nightmare if we create our own reality? And this is the deal. We know that we all have like our own projected reality. And there's a deep mystery happening here. Because if you take a projected reality and just say that you could make that like a sphere and then somebody else's projected reality, and as long as those individuals 6 feet apart, social distance, separated, they can dream all the dreams they want to dream. But this is the other mystery that's going on that we're realizing from that Mars retrograde this last year in Aries. Like, it's time for us to take back our life force. We didn't realize that as sovereign humans in a body, we have access to everything. And we've been giving it away, feeding the lower energies, right? So this time can be excruciatingly painful. You're in the wilderness. You're coming face to face with the darkest dark. Inside of you and in the world. But there's also this portal, magical portal to slip through. And what I'm being shown right now is that there's these two worlds right next to each other, these two different paradigms. And we're slipping back and forth, And so how we win is by claiming in each moment our presence, our peace, our love, our joy. And as much as this is probably the part of the frustration that has been coming up for everybody as supernova souls, because we've been so isolated. You've been isolated in general in life because, that's part of this program. And now it's very deliberate isolation. So this last year has been very hard, feeling like there's nobody else like you, and you're, that's how they want you to feel, right? Because then you can't create the new reality. The reason why you have been so targeted as a soul, as an advanced soul, as a light worker soul, is because you have the ability to project. You might not be totally in touch with this, but you have already had worked very advanced with your light body, your pineal chakra, pineal gland, your visionary abilities, your empathic, intuitive abilities. And we all shut this down to stay safe on the earth and maybe not even realize we have it. But this is why you're being so targeted. But when you're all alone over there, 6 feet apart, you cannot create the reality you want to see here. Because we're co-creators, right? And this is the true meaning of when Jesus said, when 2 or more are gathered, right? Because you can have that great world, but if it's only your world, then you're just going to be more and more disconnected. And we've got to come back into connection. And so this is a big energy of this upcoming time, is working through everything and all these delusions and all these blocks and all this to just so deliberately come back together. Now, this could be a random person on the street that you have a conversation with. It could be a friend or a family member that may be all of a sudden open, or, there's definitely energy for relationships, these people coming together. It's time for us to slip through and start to find each other. Because guess what? When two or more are gathered, what happens is our projected realities of these spheres overlap. And that creates a Vesica Pisces. This is like an eye. We can't really use our pineal gland by ourselves. We can, But when there's two of us or more of us holding a different version of reality than what's being shown to us, dreaming the dream, then we can that's how we create. So it's like, this is the next chapter for us, is this deliberate co-creation and finding each other to get to it, right? And so understanding this concept that we've got these two different worlds, they're diverging, these different timelines going on. And so we know where we're going is outside of time. We have a complete, 5D dimensional reality, our shift in consciousness. Time is completely different. And so that also tells us that when we can be in the moment, we have to claim the moment, And that's where everything in this world right now in the outer manifest reality is designed to distract you from that precious moment where you are claiming your own reality. And it's really weird because it gets very dark and nightmarish. It's like deep into the wilderness. How do I get out of this trap? And then all of a sudden, right, there's this. And this is where we have to be like, life is but a dream, right? We got to calm down, take a few deep breaths. This Pisces energy is really good for dreaming, for resting, for visioning, and just moment by moment, claim your truth and your reality and set that course, that intention to come back into that deliberate co-creation, which means, when you have, we've all had these moments where you have this random interaction with a person, which they don't want us to have right now. And you can feel the magic in that, and that's where we're creating this new reality. So it's like this Pisces, this month of Pisces energy on the heels of all of this Aquarius explosion and our personal planets, Venus and the Sun, coming into this conjunction with Neptune for this new moon, is really saying, dream your way out of this, dream your way out of this. You're in control of your psyche. And it's really hard because if you knew how much technological energy and long-term plans have gone into keeping you from this ability to project and vision and create, it's discouraging. But it doesn't take it away. Nothing can take away your soul gifts. These intuitive gifts that you came here with, nothing can take those from you. They can burn you at the stake lifetime after lifetime. It's only going to make it stronger. And isn't it time for us to step out of this reality and into the dream? And that is where we've come face to face from the month of February. Was all about coming face to face with this Taurus energy and whether or not we feel that we deserve. When it comes right down to it, there it is. Here's your dream life right there. What if it's right there just beyond this strange matrix bullshit, and then it's going to come on by and are you on that train? And the one thing that's going to keep you from getting on it is whether or not you think you deserve it or can handle it. We've all been programmed. A lot of what's underneath the low self-worth, deep, deep, deep in the subconscious, is this program fear over our own power. We've been deliberately programmed on multiple levels to believe that spiritual ascension and higher frequency vibrations are disruptive and dangerous. That's not true. It's love, peace, and joy, And it's like, you guys, move the F out of the way because it is time. And that's where it's like, so if you're saying you don't deserve your new reality on a deep subconscious level, then you're saying you do deserve hell. Like you're supposed to stay in this, wasting all your precious spiritual light and energy in this bullshit reality. Is that what you deserve? So with this Venus and the Sun transits, we're coming face to face with all of this stuff and being asked to completely rework our identity. And Neptune and the Sun is saying, and Neptune and Venus is saying that our identity it's like, there's an energy of Pisces that can help us dissolve the ego, the constructs, the attachments. And this is where it's very, very helpful, because it's like when we're like, oh, I have to do something. I have to earn this. I have to do it right. I have to figure it out, and we're playing God and we're holding on to all this stuff that is not our problem. We came here to be co-creators and play and learn and grow, And so this Pisces energy can let us be like, okay, I dissolve all those stories and thy will. Screw it. I'm done. I'm like, who did I think I was, trying to like, and this is the deal though. It's part of this isolation of the supernova soul and feeling like you came here as a light worker to bring your light and healing and help and hope and the world doesn't want it. The humanity doesn't want it. And you're rejected and all alone. This is the feminine in us that needs to be reborn. And, but it's all a trap. And this astrology is like, oh, ding, ding, ding. It's all a trap. And you're in charge right here, right now. And so we all know that gratitude and positivity and all that. And sometimes it gets really frustrating because it's like, I don't feel that way, But as we claim moment by moment, here and there, start with just the tiniest little thing. Oh, thank God this is working for me right now, right? Like, and just as we do this more and more, you're training your psyche, training your body, training your whole vibrational field to receive peace and love and joy and happiness and the higher vibrational frequencies and this beautiful opportunity we have to co-create together here. So hang in there, very powerful. Now we've got Mars and Gemini, and that's an interesting energy because Mars is like the warrior, and it's really powerful to have the Sun and Venus going over the Aries point for the equinox together, and then have Mars in Gemini. Because this is about bringing the voice back to the feminine, right? And coming right back to where we started this whole story of where we got out of balance between the masculine and the feminine, and healing and balancing, coming back into that co-creation. You see how if you've got just the masculine and then the feminine isn't able to show up and play, then you can't get that co-creation magic, And so very powerful energy because new moon in Pisces, brand new start. Oh, life is but a dream, and I'm going to claim the dream right now and be in that possibility and be in that light and be in that harmony and peace and love and our natural state of joy, of ecstatic existence, consciousness, alive and aware of itself. And Mercury coming out of retrograde shadow. So this is the first time we're going to like energy of clarity and forward motion in that big activation of Aquarian energies. So then Mercury will move over into Pisces, examining these with our mental faculties and our psyche, how to, this whole process of this the Mercury and Pisces energy for the rest of March is definitely trying to help us jimmy the lock on our psychic reality and, move back into the dream. And so really, really powerful. And then at the end of the month, after that, the Sun, Venus come together over the Aries point for the equinox. And then the Sun and Venus, they stay close for quite a while. And so reworking the feminine identity. And then they come into a conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries. Now, the wounds of Chiron are about whether or not we can be who we really are and have access to our life force. And so we are just examining and replaying these energies that are keeping us. It's almost like we're at the end of the game and there's only a few moves left. And in every cycle throughout time, there's this recapitulation period where you relive the whole thing in order to get to the next thing. And this is where we've been. And this astrology is all about that. But it's saying, hey, are you ready to tip over to the other side? How long can we stay in limbo, right? We've been here for a long time. So that's this astrology. So it's exciting. Let's stay together. Let's stay connected. Let's create this dream and claim the fact that once you tap in, so you have these different realities. You're in the nightmare and then all of a sudden you got a glimpse of this dream. And it's like, oh, it's so freaking simple. And it's right there. And those energies are increasing more and more. This magic, this light coming into our world. And you just a little bit more time there every day. Just little by little, giving yourself permission. All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I spent a couple of minutes not totally caught up in the trauma of life. I'm free. This is our sovereignty. Our sovereignty is when we say, I'm going to claim that highest vibration. And and then come together and co-create. And so I hope you can join me for the Pisces New Moon activation. That's going to be this Friday. And the information, Friday, March 12th, and the information to sign up will be in the information box below. So have a wonderful Pisces New Moon. I look forward to seeing you on that activation. Keep in mind the Equinox Soul Group session, that is going to be on the 19th. Friday the 19th. So these next Fridays events, I hope you can be there with me as we move into the rebirth of our world, our consciousness together. So look out for those events, and I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.